latest news in touch with Toronto on News Final.
Valerie, Elia, and this is St. Clair West, Little Italy, or as the locals prefer to call it, Via Italia. I can remember coming here as a child. I used to go to weddings at St. Nicholas's and catechism classes at St. Clair's, and I used to shop along here with my mother. It seemed in those days that every second shop was a fruit market, and there was no such thing as fixed prices. You were expected to bargain. Well, things have changed now. It's a little more slick, but it's still fun. Welcome to the neighborhood. The first people to settle in the area in the early 1800s came from Tipperary, Ireland, followed by the Scottish and the English. In the mid-1800s, the area was mostly farmland and was known for its fruit and vegetable markets. In 1913, St. Clair was proud to have its own streetcar route and 3 plank sidewalks. Evidently, most other streets had only 2. St. Clair and Dufferin had become a popular place to live, and lots of shops followed. The 30s saw the arrival of Woolworths, which is still there. After the Second World War, the neighborhood started to change. Immigrants from continental Europe started moving in. By the 1960s, St. Clair had become mostly Italian, with its fruit markets, street vendors, and more markets. But in the late 1970s, the markets began to disappear. Aldo Violi, president of the West Clair Business Association. What's happened to all the fruit markets? Where have they gone?
Well, you have noticed that.
I've noticed that.
Yes, gone are the fruit markets, the fruit stores, and so on, because we are not hungry anymore. The 50s have changed. The 50s have led into the 60s, and at that time we were eating a lot. Then we found out that by eating too much, we were getting too fat. So we said, no more food stores. Actually, things do not necessarily happen that way. They have not happened by design. It's just one part of our evolution. Like other villages have evolved in a different way. Take Blue West, for example, that is lined up. From Runnymede to Jane, full of delicatessen shops. Now, the kind of stores that have replaced all our food stores are fashion. You see shoe stores and the men's and ladies wear. This is the capital, really.
Well, it seems that the main street of the old neighborhood has become one of Toronto's newest fashion hotspots. The stores have adopted glamorous new looks, and the merchandise, though at times pricey, is very chic. It looks like St. Clair West is on its way to becoming the Rodeo Drive of the North, but with one big difference. They are still the same friendly people from the neighborhood behind the counters. Well, every second shop isn't a fruit market. Some things never change. For the last 30 years, in this very spot, there has been a fruit market. First, it was Powers, and then it was Poor Boy, and now it's Big Boy. And the fruit is still fresh. Over there is something you won't find many places. Fresh figs. For the people in the neighborhood, this is the place to get Italian delicacies with fancy names like Finocchio and Radicchio.
When people do their shopping, they're happy. It's not like when they're going out to do other kind of shopping. Here they come, they're looking for their food, it's fresh, they tell you they like it, they leave with a smile, they tell you if the price is too high, if it's a good price. You know, so generally it's just a fun business is what it is. The people make it that way.
It Italian men really do like to look good, because one of the interesting things I noticed walking along this street, there are more men's shops than there are women's shops. And this is one of the more popular. Genesis was one of the first stores on the block to adopt this new look. Where there used to be wood paneling and hanging fluorescent lights, there is now an abundance of chrome, mirrors, bright lights, and designer touches. I wonder what the customers felt like, because I think probably the traditional Italian shopper here didn't expect this.
No, they didn't, but now it's become part of it. You know, at first they didn't like it because it was a change from what they were used to.
What were they used to?
Well, they were used to more, you know, the old more wood type things, and like in, you know, in Italy behind the counter, and you say, show me this, and here you look at it. Now they can walk around, their selection, they can touch the things, you know. But now they like it, and you know what? Once they see this, they can't go back to the way that it was before.
If there's anything that St. Clair West is known for, it's the incredible collection of shoe stores. I know I bought shoes here, and you can find them in stores that range from the very classy to the very traditional. Dominic Oliva has been selling shoes on St. Clair since 1959, and he has developed a very loyal clientele. Do they keep coming back?
Oh, yeah, we have... just imagine, I have some customer, I give the shoe, the baby, when they born.
When they were born?
Yeah, like they were 6, 7 months. Now they are 22, 23 years. I'm selling the shoes to them.
That's
Sometimes
incredible.
they come here and say, you don't know me. I remember my mother used to bring me when I was a little one to buy the shoes from you.
What's interesting to me is that you have kept this store very traditional.
Yes, that's you see, or you make something out, you know, or you make something good for everybody, traditional, something, you know, which everybody can, that's the best way. Because if you do something luxury, something, you don't give all of the people. You give the high classes only. We give everybody here.
St. Clair West is known for its gelato, or Italian ice cream. You can buy it in the cafes and in the fancy restaurants. Interestingly enough, the people around here say you can get the very best gelato right here in the local pool hall. Early every morning, Marcello heads up the street to the local market to find the freshest fruit he can for his gelato. Today, it's lemon. And after slicing, juicing, and adding a couple of secret ingredients, it all goes into the ice cream machine. Great. All this shopping, especially for food, can really give you an appetite. I'm going to show you the way the Italians on this street have lunch. It's called lunch alla buona, which means casual but good. Hello. Hi. Can I have a quarter pound of prosciutto, thinly sliced?
Okay.
Difficult here. Some fresh bread and some prosciutto, thinly sliced. That's important. And you have lunch alla buona. By the way, we're in Earls Court Park, and it's not just a park. When I was a kid, people would come and they'd spend the entire day here. It's kind of an outdoor community center. I used to come to the park to watch the soccer games. There are often 3 going on at the same time. And, of course, there are the picnic tables for lunch in the park, kids playing, and a little romance. Hello. Thank you. This is some neighborhood. Actually, this comes from Portobello Restaurant up the street. Portobello is one of the new style Italian restaurants on St. Clair. And at the same time Torontonians were discovering it, the New York Times was recommending it as one of the best places for Italian food in Toronto. By the way, Angelo, thank you for the wine.
You're very welcome.
this is not a typical Italian restaurant.
That was our whole objective, not to be typically Italian. Basically, everyone connotates Italians with stucco pots and pans on the wall, checkered tablecloth, waiter with a ruffled shirt and a mustache, and that's far from what we are.
That's fun too, but this is different.
This is very different. It's like an oasis on St. Clair. It's never been this way. St. Clair is changing quite rapidly. A lot of second generations Italians are taking over their father's businesses, and they're putting their new modern ideas inside. And same thing with this restaurant.
What are the people coming to St. Clair West for?
They're looking to be Italian. They're looking for Italian shoes and Italian clothes and Italian food and to speak the Italian language. Ciao, buonasera, even though they're probably white Anglo-Saxons or any other nationality. They're looking to be Italian.
So this is one of your specialties?
Yes, this is actually an appetizer or as a main course. It's gamberi al fornai.
Otherwise known as shrimp?
Exactly. We have some mussels, some calamari, some clams, all done in a white wine sauce, and abundance of parsley for color and that fresh flavor.
I'm going to try the calamari. And while I am enjoying this, we are going to take a break. We really have only seen one part of St. Clair Avenue. When we come back, we will move west and see the rest of the neighborhood. It's very light.
Wilkinson Sword has built a good case for a knife that's always sharp. The Wilkinson Sword self-sharpening knife. It's sharp every time you need it, because every time you remove it from the protective case, the built-in sharpener sharpens the stainless steel blade. The Wilkinson Sword self-sharpening knife. Several popular sizes. One will become your favorite knife. Case closed. From Wilkinson Sword.
You know, Nancy, our Gay Lee production manager. Well, look at what she's produced now.
Yes, a new addition to the Gay Lee family.
Before long, Nancy will be back, giving cream-rich milk that the Gay Lee people churn into farm-fresh butter.
Taste the difference Gay Lee butter can make. Your family will love that special flavor.
Gay Lee. Quite simply, better butter.
What shall we call her?
Nancy Lee.
You know, the last time I was around here, which wasn't really that long ago, this used to be a fruit market. Things have changed. In July, a new bank opened on St. Clair Avenue West. Not just any bank. It is the Banca Commerciale Italiana of Canada. And it's quickly become an institution, a sign that the Italians are here to stay. The bank's head office is in Milan. It has branches all over the world, but until recently did not have a branch in Toronto. The first thing you notice when you walk in here is that it is beautifully designed. The look is distinctly Italian. The bank's head office is in Milan, and for their St. Clair branch, they have imported a continental touch. The glass wall tiles are an unusual blue that reminds me of the Adriatic Sea. The office furniture is efficient and, of course, well designed. Everything, including the light fixtures, come from Italy. And all for one reason, to make it a pleasure to bank here. I was taking a look at this picture, and where the market is where the bank is today. How did it come to be on the street?
Apparently that picture was taken, of course, when Italy won the World Cup in 1982. So happens that that particular picture was shown in one of the newspapers in Milan, and some of the management in Milan saw that picture, and they said that the city where there's so many Italians, we like to be there. And here we are.
In 1982, when Italy won the World Cup in soccer, St. Clair West became one of the biggest impromptu parties this city has ever seen. There was music and dancing, flags, cheering, and lots of fun. The street became so crowded that it was closed off to traffic, and even the police joined in the celebration. As the hours passed, the crowd grew larger and larger, and by early evening, there were tens of thousands of people crowding St. Clair. This was a very significant day for Toronto's Italian-Canadian population. Initially, the reason for the fiesta was their home team's victory. But they soon discovered that they were celebrating something else, themselves. On this day, they had a chance to let the rest of the city, and for that matter, the rest of the country, know that they were proud to be Italian Canadians and that they were here to stay.
Years ago, a garden party was held, and the money that was raised was used to build this church, St. Clair, on St. Clair. Of course, my memory of it is much more recent. I used to come to Mass and to catechism classes here, but I remember even then the feeling that one minute you'd be on a busy, noisy street, and the next moment you'd be in an oasis of calm and beauty.
Speaking of churches and St. Clair, when you put the two together, you usually have a wedding. And, of course, wedding pictures.
Always two for the insurance. Okay, this time you all look here. Yeah, that's very nice. Look at this. Hey, that's great. My boyfriend, my husband now. Here we go, right? Okay, hello. That's a good picture.
For newlyweds Tony and Rosa, the formal pictures began here at Star Photo Studio. But for the outdoor shots, Gardens, northwest of St. Clair. As you can see, it has a certain attraction for brides. With the streams, bridges, and gazebos, it's a magical setting for wedding photos. If the old saying holds true that it's good luck to see a bride, then this could be your lucky day. Wedding is being able to make all the noise you want. When you get away from the main street and move up the side streets, you discover a very different St. Clair, a more traditional neighborhood with a feeling of stability and roots. You still find kids on the street, people on their verandas, and corner grocery stores that cater to the side streets.
Is there any resentment among the people here that so much has changed on the street? Because it is changed.
But it's changed to the better. It hasn't changed to the worse, it's changed to the better. The stores have been beautified. The street itself has been beautified. We get a lot of banks in the corners right now, so you have a lot of banking business that the people can do their banking. You have also La Banca Commerciale Italiana that just came in the area, a beautiful structure. And that helps also a lot of the older generation Italians who don't speak the English that well.
Characterize this area for me in terms of money. Some rich, some poor?
Middle class.
Not rich, but some, yeah.
I think the people you may think are poor are probably not. They probably do have some money. Because when I characterize Italians, I characterize them as hard workers. When I characterize the neighborhood, I characterize the neighborhood as a very hard work, and I sometimes get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, I used to when I used to jog a little bit, and I see people getting up and getting the streetcars ready to go to work. Woman and man, both. They're very, very, they don't want no unemployment insurance, they don't want no welfare, they want to work hard and live life to the fullest, and they want to take care of their family.
This is a typical Sunday afternoon at the Imbrogno household. At least once a week, the kids drop by the old neighborhood to visit Grandma and Grandpa, and, of course, to have a little something to eat. Alberto Imbrogno was one of the first Italians to settle in the neighborhood. In 1958, he left his family and his native Calabria to start a new life in Canada. A year later, he was joined by his wife, Davina, and they moved into this house just north of St. Clair.
Beh, appena che siamo venuti qua, a me non mi piaceva St. Clair, perché erano tutti quanti inglesi.
Alberto says that when he first arrived here, he didn't like it very much. There were no Italians on St. Clair, and if you didn't speak English, you were very lonely. But little by little, the Italians came, and now he wouldn't dream of leaving. Grandpa loves the people, the shops, and the cafes, but his greatest weakness is the Italian cinema. Grandma says that sometimes he sneaks out of the house when she's not looking so that he can catch the double bill. Though their sons and daughters have moved away, they still come back. In a way, they are rediscovering St. Clair, finding that it's a good place to shop and eat and share good times with old friends.
Plus, it's like Via Veneto, you know?
Yeah,
Come
like
to St. Clair, it's Via Veneto in
that's
Roma.
True, that's true. But like Agrigento, Sicilia.
No.
This is in my heart, Sicilian, and that's it. I talk in Sicilian. What are you talking?
Number one.
Sicilian number one. Yeah. Calabria number two, but Sicilian number one.
The atmosphere down here is just fantastic, you know. It's such a friendly atmosphere. As you know, that's the key word, friendly. Like, you know, everyone walking around, everyone's smiling, everyone is walking up and down the streets, you know.
On a Friday or Saturday night, we're mostly young people there, you know, and you meet new friends. That's why it's so good, St. Clair, because, you know, it's very friendly. You can meet new people after 5 minutes of just, you know, seeing them and all that, you know.
I'm a girl.
Oh, the girls are amazing down here, that's for sure, you know. You know, those nice Italian girls, you know. Nice Italian girls come down here, yeah.
After lunch, it's time to sit back, look at some old family pictures, and take a few extra minutes to cherish the warmth of the family. And after this, we will be back with more of St. Clair Avenue West.
Full of great entertainment, and it's all on the TTC. We got shows to see, our symphony, art and ice, even winter's nice, a museum grand, dancing to a band. We've got sights to see, all on the TTC. We've got movie screens, our hockey team, castle on a hill and skating trails, stars galore, nights out and more. We've got stars to see, all on the TTC.
Toronto's Entertainment Network.
'Tis the week before Christmas, and in every store there's the hustle and bustle of shoppers galore. With your big presents bought, and there's still lots to do. You need something for the cousins, Uncle Ed and Aunt Sue. There's the mailman, the neighbors, the list is so long. Here's Santa's suggestion, and I won't steer you wrong. For last-minute gifts, don't get left in the cold. This Christmas, give tickets from Powder Bowl.
In 1977, Voyager 2 was launched into space, inviting all life forms in the universe to visit our planet. In 1984, someone accepted our invitation. Get ready. Company's coming. John Carpenter's Starman.
Get ready, Company's coming this Friday to a theater near you.
My family have been making quality chocolates in Canada since 1872. These are our very best. Delecto. 21 deliciously different centers, thick with chocolate. There are 8 chocolate nuts in Delecto, nougats, caramels, and cherries. We still hand-dip the almonds. Take it from one who knows chocolate. Give our best this Christmas. They might cost a little more, but they're worth it. Look for the gold coat. Ganong Delecto.
Well, as we've seen, St. Clair during the day is known for its shopping. But at night, after the sun goes down,
St. Clair Avenue becomes a walking street for people who want to see and be seen. For the young girls, it's a chance to get dressed up and strut down the street. And for the guys, it's a chance to show off a new machine and burn a little rubber. By night, the street becomes a hot spot. But like in a good Italian movie, everyone usually ends up at a cafe. Romeo de Zorzi was one of the first to set up a sidewalk cafe on St. Clair. He wanted to open one just like the ones he remembered in the old country.
St. Clair has become an area where it's an alternative to, say, Yorkville, and we get people from all over the place. We get them from as far as Oshawa, Woodbridge, Mississauga, you name it. They come down here and enjoy, one of the many that's in the area.
But that's different than it was a few years ago.
Oh, very
You've
much.
bthe here 5 years. What are the changes? What are the changes you've seen?
Well, the thing is that they really didn't have very many places to go to, other than the local billiards, and that's really male-oriented. You really can't expect a woman to go in there. In fact, at one point, the women were really rather scared even to take a walk on St. Clair for fear of being pinched.
Well, what better way to end a day on St. Clair than at an Italian wedding? There's lots of food, music, dance, and fun. Looking at Tony and Rosie, you can see they're having a great time. And when you look around this room, you see a lot of familiar faces, people from the neighborhood. And I think that is what makes St. Clair unique. Even though it has become slick and progressive, it is still a neighborhood of friends. And I think it always will be. Salute.